Oh, no, cut it. Cut the theme song. Cut the... You know, guys, I try my best not to clog my channel and upload a video shortly after I just uploaded one, because I don't want to clog my channel and everything. I'm all about quantity over quality, but this is just too important. This is just too important. Okay, I got that out of the way. Now you can roll the theme song. Go for it. Breaking Bad, Season 5, Episode 14, episode called Ozymandias, which is named after, which is the guy in The Watchmen. Remember this episode. Remember this episode as one of the best of the series, if not the best. Definitely one of my top 3 favorite episodes of the series. Vince Gillian said it was going to be one of the best episodes, and the guy was right. It is a wonderful, wonderful episode for so many reasons that we are about to talk about. And if you have not seen this episode, why would you even think about clicking on this video? I mean, thank you for wanting to watch, but if you have not seen Breaking Bad, Episode 14, Season 5, don't even think about going any further from right now. Stop the video now at this point. So now we have established that there's a shootout, and there has to be someone that is going to die in this episode. Who is it? Well, we get to figure it out. One of the very first shots of the episode is Gomez. He is dead, laying in the ground, and that was like, everyone sort of called that. But wait, let me rewind a second and talk about what happened in the beginning. We get a flashback of Jesse and Walt in the first season in the RV. And, Walt calls Skylar, and they talk, he lies to her, and then she's like, I like the name Holly, and, that happens. They show a cool flashback, and then we go to present day, and the flashback was also in the spot that they are now in present day, so, that's the resemblance there. And, there's also another resemblance I'll talk about later. So anyway, Gomez is dead, so Hank has been shot in the knee, we see in the opening, and, he's crawling, he sees Gomez's shotgun, he's trying to crawl to it and get it, but they stop him, the huge gang stops him, Todd and his uncle, and, now I'm like, are they gonna kill Hank? What's gonna happen? Of course they try to, and Walter's like, no, this guy's my brother. Then they're like, what? Are you kidding me? This guy is your brother? This DEA agent is your brother. Why did you not tell us that? So, Jesse is gone. They think he ran away. So, they battle back and forth. Walt's like, don't kill him. I'll give you money. And then Hank is like, shut up. He made up his mind 10 minutes ago. Bang. Mr. Hank himself is now deceased. And this is a landmark for this series, not just the season, the series. And now, Hank's out of the picture, Gomez is out of the picture. What's going to happen with Skylar, Marie, Jesse, Walt Jr. / Flynn? What's going to happen with Saul Goodman, minus the spinoff show that just got confirmed? So, as we keep going, they leave. Before they leave, they find Jesse. He's under the car. And they're about to shoot him whenever Todd's like, hey, let's talk to this guy and see what all went on with him and the cops. And they were like, okay, fine. Meanwhile, Walter is he is on the ground, and he is broken into pieces. He cannot believe what has just happened. Gomez is dead, his brother-in-law is dead, and he's just shell-shocked. Now, he still wants to follow through with the Jesse thing. So, they don't kill him yet, because, they were like, let him talk to us first. Let's talk to him. Talk. So, Todd and his uncle take some of the money, they give some to Walter, they drive off. Walter drives back, runs out of gas, finds a truck, and, drives back with the truck, because he can't go into town with the bullet holes in the side of the car. So he finds this old man and says, here, I'll give you $1 billion for your disgusting truck. Goes into town, goes home, starts to pack. Skylar and Walt Jr. and Holly show up at the front doorstep Walk in. Walter, what the heck's going on? We thought you were arrested. Now, before this, they were at the car wash. Marie talks to Skyler and says, here's the deal. He's arrested. Hank got him. Skyler freaks out. Then she's like, you need to tell Flynn. I can't call him Flynn. Walt Jr., pancake lover. I've got to call him Walt Jr. She's like, you got to talk to Walt Jr. and tell him what's going on. So it happens, and Walt Jr. just freaks out. He's cussing left and right. He doesn't believe it at all. Not for 1 second. And then we get to whenever Walt and Skyler finally meet in the house after all this has happened. Walt Jr. is like, Dad, they're telling me you're some sort of drug lord and you killed some people. What's going on? Everyone's asking questions to Walt. Walter's just like, pack your things. We are leaving. And they're still like, no, talk to us. What's going on? Is Hank dead? And then Skyler finally figures it out. She says, she asks him if Hank's dead. He doesn't really give a straightforward answer. She realizes it. She comes to her own conclusions, gets the knife, and goes psycho on Walter. And they fight. She cuts his hand, and, Walt Jr. breaks it up, calls the police, and says, hey, my dad's crazy. He tried to kill my mom with a knife. And, things happen in that house. Crazy things happen in that house. And they all, things are getting very, very intense at this point. Walter stands up, takes the baby, and leaves as Skyler tries to chase him away. And he gets away. And then you see the cops arrive at Skyler's house and Walter's house. And Walter calls Skyler and says, hey, a lot of this is your fault. He gives her the guilt trip. She says she's sorry. And then an interesting scene occurs at a fire station. You see these employees sitting around. Then you see one of their fire truck lights go off. It's like flickering. And then they go up to it, and well, there's Holly sitting there all by herself in a little whatever you call them. And which pretty much says Walter is wanting to give Holly back so he can do what he plans to do next. Because Skyler's like, come home, and he's like, I have things to do still. So I'm not even going to bother doing impressions because I suck at them. I'll end up sounding like Batman. So he says, nope, I got things to do. I still have things that I need. I have things I need to tie up. And so then you find out at the end that he calls the guy that Jesse called to get a new life or whatever. And he puts the money in the van, he puts the bags in the van, and he drives off. Now, very interesting ending and can be interpreted in many ways. But that's what this comment section is for. This is a fantastic, fantastic episode. Performances are great, left and right. RJ Mitty, man, this guy did great. I really loved his performance. Meanwhile, Jesse is getting tortured and beaten, and you also find out later that Todd wants to cook with Jesse. Pretty much force him to. He's got him chained up and everything. But RJ Mitty and Jesse Pinkman's name is falling out of my brain. I think it's Paul something. I can't remember. Forgive me. I'll remember in 20 minutes and be like, oh yeah, crap. But RJ Mitty, this guy freaks out. This guy shows he's finally figured out, and he's in the worst position possible because he's like, this is my dad and mom. I'm watching my mom attack my dad with a knife. That's got to be rough. RJ Mitty's performance is great. Walt Jr. was absolutely fantastic in this episode. Walter, Bryan Cranston, once again, this is one of his best performances ever in the series. Everything's going through his mind, especially when Hank dies. His reaction to that was just like, oh, this is so hard to watch. This is just awful. And then you get to see Jesse beaten and bruised, and he sort of looks like Ryan Gosling in Only God Forgives. And that was really hard to watch too. This is a very painful sit. You get to see people die. You get to see people beaten. You get to see Walter pretty much take his child and drive off, and you get to see Skyler's reaction to that. You get to see Walter Jr.'s reaction to the whole thing. He's freaking out. Then you get to see Marie's reaction to Hank is dead because Walter is pretty much like, you're never going to see Hank again. Let's just put it that way. Marie freaks out. Very, very uncomfortable, but very, very brilliant episode of Breaking Bad when it comes to performances. Everything's coming full circle. It is an amazing episode, and honestly, I can't wait to watch it again. Of course, I'm going to go 5 out of 5, but we got to do the gun, so bang, 5 out of 5 for Episode 14, Season 5, Ozymandias of Breaking Bad. Huge episode, guys. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments section. And if you like this review, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. We got a lot more stuff coming up this week. And as always, guys, I'm the Film Critic signing off.